discipline.
Very good. Very good.
So I will be right back. Please say hi to anyone that comes in on chat.
No, that's not true.
And then, hello. Hi. Hi, Ken.
Oh, I just realized I'm live. That's why.
Oh. Well, no, it looks like no one's here yet. But
Yep.
I will be right
I'm
back
here.
to get some more.
What do you mean I'm there?
And yeah, and you guys
Hi,
are the most
so-
important. So
Hi to me.
Gosh, Ken.
is this what I'm in for tonight? All right.
There's a couple people
my
in chat
gosh.
saying hi. My dog will stop barking momentarily.
Well, once you shoot it. Bad joke, I know. Never mind.
Shoot it with love.
Shoot it with love. Yeah.
So, Ken, have you seen all of Obi-Wan?
Yep, I did.
So did I.
We talked about it this morning on the Hear Me Out show with Super Shadow, and
Nice.
me, Ern from 5% Podcast, and Mr. Potato. Of course, Ern has a lot of things to say about it. Everything he says, I agree, and everything I said, each episode had a dumb thing in it, but overall, I still enjoyed it.
Nice. You know, I personally, if we're gonna talk spoilers, I for the most part, I thought there was more wrong with it than right up until like the last 20 minutes of the last episode. I think they finally
good point.
started to get things back on
everyone's here.
track.
Stacy, hello.
Yes.
Ashley, hello.
Man, we've been ignoring chat, and what did he tell us to do? He gave us one thing to do.
Oh, you guys weren't saying hi to anyone? Oh my gosh.
No, we were talking
we're
about
talking.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Come on.
Don't interrupt, okay?
Yeah.
You gotta.
And hi, Stacy and Ashley.
Ashley, I think that's
Stacy, who's
it
Stacy?
so far. Dale's wife.
I see Ashley there. Oh, there's Stacy. Sorry, I didn't see Stacy. And that's our
And
Bravo.
hello,
And-
Babo.
Yes. Welcome.
So Bravo keeps sending messages to the Earth Oddity podcast people. You know,
Nice.
That's
trying to
awesome.
mention them. You know,
I feel like that's the second most named podcast you mentioned, Ken, is after Retro Rewind.
yeah. Oh, and then of course the Infinity Bros. Yeah.
Oh yes.
And that's
But
old Ben.
I mean, because remember I
Bubba.
called them up. I was on my stream. I called them up. Their little voicemail thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Camp in Washington. You know, I
Yes.
found you guys from Retro Rewind podcast, but why do you call him Squirrel? Because I met the. Well, you did it. You rated me, and all of a sudden he's there, and you're like,
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, he's the guy. Like, yeah, whatever. You're pulling my leg. No, I'm the guy. I'm like, what?
Squirrel Girl is the guy. Yes, indeed.
You met CajunCurl.com?
Yeah.
Wow.
In real
I'd be like,
life?
No, not in real life.
Okay,
I go to
okay.
Alabama, but
Hey,
I was like,
congratulations.
I literally on while I was streaming, I ordered it. I was going to order anyways. 'Cause I have been delaying it, so I ordered it. You get an email that says we got your order right, and all of a sudden he goes, yeah, I processed it to the email, processed this right. Now I have my got the label for it. I'm like, you got to.
Okay,
It's
no
like,
worries, Stacey.
wow, instantaneous.
That's awesome. Wow. Okay, guys.
Captain,
I
you're
think,
being ahoyed.
Yeah.
Ahoy!
I said a whole. I did this to Dallas already.
Sorry,
Hey,
sir.
Nico.
And
I
welcome.
haven't. Awesome. Oh, and your grandma's Wi-Fi. Nice, Nico. Giving a state of the pod address. Yes, I think Paul will be doing that. Yep. I am now testing negative for COVID. Huzzah! Awesome,
Woohoo!
Ashley. Paul, are you okay doing the intro there?
Yeah.
I know usually I do that part.
The
but-
voice is like, no, sir. I don't. No.
Well, good. Testing negative
Okay.
for COVID.
No, sir. No. I sure don't.
More like
Okay.
not like he's mean, but like no, sir. No, I sure don't.
No, sir. No, sir.
Sorry, I'm saluting my captain. Sorry.
Just do your best.
Miles dipples in a sore throat. Okay.
Losers always whine about their best.
Yes, Dale is looking all stately. I agree with his
Yes.
awesome USA shirt. Yes, and Dale, if I call you Dave tonight, my apologies.
He
Because
looks like Super Dave with the white hat.
Oh, I forgot about Super Dave. Oh my goodness. Yes,
Have you
Phil
watched
Bear's
Miss
for
Marvel?
sure. Nope.
I haven't seen the latest episode, only the first two.
Well, they
Oh,
keep
thank
calling
gosh.
Bruno. The one guy keep calling Bruno Brian. You know.
Yeah. That's right.
We don't talk about Brian. All right, a thumbs up, guys, if you are ready to go. Great, Ken. Wonderful. Okay. Then I think we'll start. I
45
imagine
degrees.
I left out something in the notes, so if
There's a
red in the
shocker.
mode, there
Hey,
is, but
Right after all the good stuff, you're gonna say you forget something. So remember now.
that's not how this works, Ken.
Where are we going?
We're going
How it works.
to this episode of the True Round Podcast. Okay. In 5. So we're going to start. I'm kicking us off. I'm right with that. Hey, Star Fox. In 5, 4, 3.
Wait for it.
I don't want to tell some 8-year-old kid he's got to sleep in the street because we want to. Damn it!
Take your time. Take a big breath. A little faster.
And that's the first
tell.
Edna.
Take
That doesn't count.
502.
Oh my gosh. There will be one more Edna tonight. That's all. Here we
Is
go.
this one of that one more?
No!
Okay.
I don't want to tell some 8-year-old kid he's got to sleep in the street because we want people to feel better about their car. Do you want to tell them that?
Well, yeah, because the car is just one of the great many places that you can listen to this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor, fluxing, crew, to stations. Scanning for Dave, 1993. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I don't know why I was so dire there. I am your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Master Interrupter Vice President Powers.
Hey, Captain. I would have taken a bullet for you.
Thank you, Ving Rhames. Also, for this discussion of the film, Dave, we welcome back aboard Ship's Health Inspector, Dale White. Hey, Dale.
What's up?
What's up? And in addition, we are glad to have back aboard Ship's Communication Specialist, Ken Cummings.
So I need to go to the health center. Sorry, do you want me to cough? I'm fine. How you doing? Great to have you be here back again.
By the way, Edna mode. Dang it! Hold on. I think there's a promotion, but I want to double check that. I don't need your guys' guff, okay?
This is the one more that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is the one more. Exactly. And no more mistakes the rest of the night.
My wonderful intro just blown to smithereens. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah. I'm glad you get it, Ken.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Not two more. Okay, here we go. Back in 3, 2, 1. In addition, we are glad to have back aboard Ship's Communication Specialist, Ken Cummings.
Hey,
Hey,
glad to be back. Glad to be here. I'm glad you're all feeling better because, after all, we have the ship surgeon here. So if you do start collapsing, we can send you to the sick bay and you'll be all well, right?
He's a health inspector. I don't know if he's
health inspector.
a surgeon, but
Oh, health inspector. Well,
We have a hologram doctor on board,
you-
don't we?
let me put this food away. Be back.
well, don't go too far, Ken, because this is actually your 6th time on the podcast. Do you know what that means?
No, I do not.
That means you are now promoted to Chief Communication Specialist. Congratulations.
All right, Chief. Whoa, wow. Okay.
Yes, indeed. It is a big wow.
Your
Congratulations.
responsibilities have doubled, and so have your taxes.
And so,
Well,
but pay,
and
yes.
pay, yeah, your pay's doubled. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. 2 times 0 equals 0.
Wow. I see how it is. Anyway, now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paula, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Dave?
Yes, Dave is a TV series released in 2020. Stars David Byrd, Andrew Santano, and Gata.
Paul.
Yeah.
This is 1993's Dave the movie.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
I don't know why this comes.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking. We're walking.
All right.
That's my line. Stop.
Dave was released May 7th, 1993. It's okay, Ken. We're walking. It runs an hour and 50 minutes. It's rated PG-13. It was directed by Ivan Reitman, who did like Ghostbusters or something. It was written by Gary Ross, with lead stars being Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver, Frank Langella, and a few others you may or may not recognize. The music was composed by James Newton Howard. And are you ready for the box office trivia?
I'm ready. Ken and Dale, are you guys ready?
Go for it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
I'm
anyone
depressed
here
now,
live
okay.
in stream, you're welcome to join in as well. Go for it, Paul. And
sorry.
don't kick Ken while he's down, by the way. What is it? Go for it.
I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave.
Oh my gosh.
Dave was made for about $28 million and earned over $63 million in the box office. Given this and the
Awesome.
fact that it was released theatrically in 1993, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the films released theatrically in 1993? We'll go for the top 50.
Top 50. So let's start with Ken. What's your guess?
Well, that's Jurassic Park year, so clearly number
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I'm going to say 33.
33. How about you, Dale?
15.
15. Let's see. In chat, we have 25 from Geek Devotions, 28 from Ashley, 42, of course, 42 from Bobo.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to guess somewhere in between all that. I'm going to guess 21. Blackjack 21 here.
Stacy and also 28.
Stacy also guesses 28. And D. Tungsten guesses 7. All right. Well, Paul, where did it end up in the top 50?
Everyone should be following Geek Devotions because they're correct with
Whoa,
25.
25. Well, I was close with my 21, so there. Yeah.
Sure. We were all close because they were all under 50.
All right. I suppose that's true. Well, thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice is located. Our target film.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
Critics rave over Dave. Yes. Joel Siegel, ABC TV, calls Dave the first great comedy of summer '93. Dave gives my vote. Peter Travers, Rolling Stone, says Dave's irresistible, entertaining. It's a winner. And David Sheehan, NBC TV, calls Dave a surefire comedy sensation. Whoa! Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver, Dave, an Ivan Reitman film, rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
Yes. Well,
It's a comedy? Okay.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking. We're walking.
watching that. What the junk is happening? Dang it! And whatever. there's
Number
one more for you.
3.
Dang it.
Who had number 3? Don't worry, we're still going.
Watching that commercial is a surefire way to bring back some memories about Dave and to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered most before our rewatch. Here's our memory mind mode synopsis for Dave. Do you know that girl from Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Yes, that girl. Well, her husband, the white guy from Wild Wild West, impersonates the president of the U.S. of A. So well that Skeletor and his minion hire him to double as the president, hoping to become master of the universe. The impersonating president impresses everyone with his changes, including Dana, not Zool. Oh my gosh. Do they really think they could get away with this? Whether they do or don't, it's a happy ending. I'm sure some of that was certainly in line with what actually happened in Dave, but some of it was
Most accurate.
Decepted.
Maybe not.
So I mentioned this on my stream.
Mhm.
Read Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Everyone's like, "What movie's that?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I've heard of
Everyone's
it,
just
but
so
I've
freaking
never
young. Okay.
I've never seen it. I've heard of the movie though.
I'm like, yeah, Kevin Kline. He's married to Phoebe Cates.
Right.
Like who? I'm like, what?
You know the girl from Gremlins? You
Oh,
know
is that-
Goody in it?
Is Phoebe Cates in Goonies?
No, Corey Feldman is
I know, but
in Goonies with Phoebe Cates.
so she is in Goonies.
No, she's in Gremlins.
But you said Goonies.
I said with the kid, with the goo. Anyway, moving on. Where are we?
I got confused.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking. We're walking.
You're walking.
All right, based on those memories, as flawed as they apparently were, Goonies, Gremlins, and Dave, what range did they lead you to predict before you rewatched this film? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Let's start with Dale this time. What was your prediction, Dale?
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic. How about you, Ken?
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic. Paul?
Classic.
Classic. For me, I think I'm the only one here that had not seen this movie before. So I remember thinking, I didn't really know that much about it other than Kevin Kline plays himself impersonating the president. And
That's impressive that you knew that much, because people who usually haven't seen it know nothing about it.
well, I remember the ads, but that gimmick didn't really stick with me as something I wanted to see. But I knew of that, so I gave it middle of the road nostalgic. So it's up to it to impress or depress me. But it'll be interesting to see if those predictions came true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about Dave. Let's spin up our...
Best 3.
And let's begin with Dale. What's one thing you really, really liked about Dave?
I love the actors that I saw in this.
Yeah.
The
Kevin-
actors you saw in this? Yeah, totally.
Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver, Frank Langella, and Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Yes.
The guy that I don't know his name, but the actor that played Alan.
Kevin Dunn, I believe,
Yes,
is his
Kevin
name.
Dunn.
I remember seeing him in the Transformers movie.
Mm-hmm. Played
He's
the
been in
dad, yeah.
He's been in other movies, but I recognize him in that movie mostly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Arnold.
Arnold.
Yeah,
Um,
like all the cameos and stuff, yes.
I just like every time would see an actor, it seemed to elevate it some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
My gosh.
I just that's my first like.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just seeing the actors.
And one of those actors made my like list. Kevin Kline, I'll speak to him. He was one of my likes. I just loved his little embellishments and innocence that he played in the Dave character. And I mean, he's definitely way worse as the president. What was his name? Mitchell.
Bill Mitchell.
Bill Mitchell. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely played a president you don't like in that role, but as Dave, he was so fun-loving, and I just really, really sweet. I really enjoyed him, and he did a good job in both roles. Ken, did any of the actors make your like list, or was something that you appreciate about Dave?
The sun'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Tomorrow. So I like that.
Okay,
I like that.
Annie's or
That's
what's
Zool
it,
singing
Oliver
that
or
part.
whatever. I
That
can't
was one of
remember.
I likes in that movie was him singing that song and the way they did it right.
Mhm,
Yeah, it was
mhm.
just good. I just loved it. It was
Yeah.
just, I wrote it down thinking, oh my gosh. I mean, I love the song, I love the musical, and then seeing that and them doing it, it's just good.
Awesome.
Apparently,
Oh,
we
fun.
need to review Annie and Oliver on this film since the
Yeah, so
captain can't distinguish between the two.
Well, which one does that come from? Which one? I don't know.
Well, that's why I said we should review it. You'll find out.
Whatever. Paul, we're reviewing Dave right now.
Oh, okay.
We're at now. So why don't you give me your
okay,
like
sorry.
for
Moving,
Dave?
folks. We're walking. We're walking.
We're in 1993. We're not now. We're 93 right now. Okay.
Ken,
We're not.
I will demote you like that.
There goes half your pay, like that. Don't worry, he's done that to me many times.
Oh my.
Anyway, one of the things that I really liked about this film, and something that I didn't really expect, is that last speech
Oh.
he gives, and it's very motivational. And he talks about like the president being a temp job and how he kind of forgets that. And I think a lot of us forget that sometimes.
Yes.
And it's very well written. I find it very very good.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's go back to Dale. What's something else you liked? Was it the writing? Maybe something about the cinematography? Anything like that?
Throughout the movie, I liked the Dave's gain of confidence, if you will.
Oh yeah, how he grows into almost being like the
Well,
president.
at first, he was like reluctant to play the role, if you will.
Mhm.
But then as he goes along, and then he seems like as he grows into the role or whatever, he's got the courage to fire Frank Langella's character, and
Yes,
I like that turnaround.
absolutely. Yes, and it's cool how he sort of corners him into doing the budget. Like everyone's there, so he can't like single Frank Langella's character can't single out Dave.
That's where I like Frank Langella in the movie. The way you see him do that PP walk down through the past Bonnie Hunt. As she's
Yes.
walking and
Yes.
just try to see what's going on, and then Dave fires him.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
So
Yeah, Frank Langella does a really good menacing, like formidable foe. Let's put it that way.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, Paul. But
Yes, waiting for it.
Paul, what were some of the like little elements that you really appreciated, or one more?
I was very impressed with the sets of this. This looked like the White House. It looked like it was filmed on location. But after watching the behind the scenes, they rebuilt most of that interior stuff.
Yeah.
That it's just incredible. But the way the whole tone of the film visually made it just felt real, like you were really in that, and it felt authentic, and I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, I've never been to DC myself, but I've seen tons of DC movies, and this looked like another one that was there. So I've seen National Treasure. I know what DC looks like.
That's Pennsylvania. No, it's both.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say. Let's go back to Ken. What did you like about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, the things that Dale mentioned, the cast of characters, okay?
Yes.
And it's just like, like I said, Frank Langella, I recognize Kevin Dunn. Ben Kingsley was sparsely used, but I always like Ben Kingsley, right? Because Ving Rhames, okay? When I saw him, I'm like, whoa, what? And how much he's in the movie, okay? Whoa, this is kind of cool, right? Seeing him there, right? Especially considering I've seen the recent trailer for Mission Impossible, which he's in it, And
is he still in it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He's not
and
dead
so
yet.
also Bonnie Hunt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna play it? Come on.
Oh,
Wow,
sorry.
Paul.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking.
Sorry, I
we're
wasn't walking. Now I'm there with you.
I saw that, and she did
And
that.
one
I'm
time.
like, Bonnie Hunt. Like that was probably one of the. It wasn't my classmate, but one of the great things in that movie. Keep walking, keep walking. Oh, there's the secret staff. Like, oh, he's leaving. Okay, well, keep walking. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
a
was
very
surprised.
small role.
Yeah, I was surprised that was
Small role.
that's all she was, and I was excited to see her
classic.
again.
I was just,
Yeah.
No, you know
Plus,
why she's
Charles
not in
Grodin,
there?
too.
Because she kept.
Let's keep moving, folks.
Oh
We're
my
walking.
gosh.
We're walking.
and don't forget Charles Grodin too. Even small role too, but still.
Oh, there's so many wonderful small roles in this.
I don't know if I can. I'm not having trouble putting a face to that name, Charles Grodin. Who is
He was the CPA, the accountant guy. He brought
he was Dave's friend.
Dave's friend.
Oh yes. Thank you. Now I know who you're talking about.
The dude with the bad haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of, like you guys were saying, there's lots of awesome little like bit parts in this, but they're played by named actors for sure.
And
there's
non-actors, like political commentaries of the day. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh, like the McLaughlin group.
group. Yeah.
Yes.
Jay Leno.
Charles
Jay
Charles
Leno,
Grodin's been around for a while. There's a lot more movies in the 70s, like Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah.
He was in it, but so
I just
70s
remember
and
him
80s,
falling in love
before
with Miss Piggy.
90s. But
Oh, he's
In the Muppet
he's in
Caper.
Muppet's Caper. That's
Yeah.
right.
Muppets Caper. Yeah.
Beethoven.
Yeah.
Oh, Beethoven.
Yeah, that's 92. Yeah.
There's lots of movies out there.
Mid-
There's lots of
Midnight-
moments in Dave, and one of those moments that I really liked
Thanks for keeping us walking.
was I just loved, and this is a spoiler if you've never seen Dave. This is a very funny moment that will be spoiled if you haven't seen it. But so turn it off for 30 seconds if you don't want to be spoiled. But I love the moment where Sigourney Weaver finds out Dave is an imposter, that he's not Bill Mitchell, by like conning him into. I remember when you were the secretary of some
No, representative, I think it was.
yeah, a representative of the seat race or something, and you were never the representative. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting that.
Aha! I tricked you. No, I tricked you. I was testing you.
No, so I really appreciated that moment quite a bit in Dave.
Well, add to that is that he's like, it wasn't when you saw me in the shower. She's like,
oh yeah, that
no.
was funny. Yeah.
But she also said she actually did it before that. It was like she recognized him being beforehand, but then that was a clencher. Was those things? Yeah.
Like looking
At
when
the
she
shower?
looked at her leg. Yeah.
Oh, it looked like your husband there, physically.
Apparently, I was curious about that because I'm not gonna go down that road. Anyway,
Yeah, we don't need to
the road I want to go down is our classic makers, guys. The things we loved most about Dave. I feel like we got here really quickly, but sometimes you just snap right to it. Let's start with
walking.
Paul. Exactly. Let's start with Paul. What did you love most about Dave?
Just echoing what people have brought up before is this cast. I thought it's just this huge cast for such a tiny story that I'm sorry, I want to pause it for a moment.
I'm hearing background TV talk or something.
It's not me. I'll mute. Okay.
I muted myself. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is that you, Ken? You think?
Because it's
I think
gone
so.
now. All right.
Yeah, I don't hear it now. Okay, well, I guess we'll
All
continue.
right. Edna mode number what? 4?
That wasn't my fault. It's not my fault.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The classic maker for me is what people have said before is about this cast. This is a small little story with a big cast. It's almost unnecessary to have these many great people in such a small story, but I
Yes.
think it really helps push the story. In fact, what the cast does tonally with the story, I think, and the humor, it does. They do it so well, and it wouldn't have been as good without this cast.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. And that sort of rolls right into my classic maker, Paul, picking out singling out one more person from the cast. And I think, Dale, this was your classic maker. Frank Langella, he is just such a great, I don't know, just someone you love to hate. He is just so good at being so despicable and just I don't know, just cruel in this very subtle way. I just was really impressed by his performance and how he just had so much disdain, but held it back, and he really played that duplicitousness so well. So
yeah, and I noticed this time the tones in his voice are so soft and subtle and deep. It's almost soothing. So you can see how someone like him could be in a power of position, but then what he does with that power, he plays that role really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Frank is still alive too.
Yeah.
Oh, he is.
Apparently,
cool.
he's the voice of the console in Destiny 2: The Witch Queen.
There you
Really?
go.
So game
Oh.
tie in there. Okay.
Well, alrighty.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Unlike
apparently.
Charles Grodin, who passed away last year.
He did? What?
Sorry, Miss Piggy. Got to move on.
Oh my. Let's move on to Dale. What was your classic maker for Dave?
Hi, I'm Ellen Mitchell. I like that. I like that turnaround with Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
I said earlier I liked how Dave turned on Frank Langella's character.
Yes.
But then, as she walks side by side on Dave. I just love how she tells him that she found out that he is not her husband. That
Yes.
and then shortly is on his side. You know, I just like how that all played out.
Yeah, and I'll reserve something I was going to say just in case it happens to be Ken's classic maker, so I don't walk over it. But I do want to circle back in case it's not. So, Ken, why don't you give us your classic maker?
Well, it's not that, but I want to add to that. You know, the fact that in a sense, what she got from Dave was, or from the what's the actual his real name? Anyways, the guy she fell in love with physically.
Yeah.
But now the man she really wanted emotionally and morally, let's say,
Yeah.
She wins out because she got the guy she wants to, my classic maker, so at the very end of the movie, he's running, okay? So he's running for congressman, local council member, and she comes in, and she's like, hey, I'm here, I want to help, right? And they start kissing in the office, right? And then, of course, really didn't notice the blinds were open. That was stupid. Okay, but anyway, close the blinds. They close the blinds, and here's the classic maker. Okay, the ending with Dwayne, Vin Rames. Okay, coming over there, standing right in front of it.
Yes, that was great
because he's now going to protect him here.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the whole movie.
The ending.
That was a great cap. It's sort of a great conclusion to Ving Rhames' character for sure. I really like that. Yes.
You know, this almost made my like list, but that whole thing with him running as councilman, I didn't notice it until this watch. That's the same route that the vice president took. He said he was taking on that same route.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I thought that was clever in the script. To do that.
How he sort of learned from another character that had walked that road. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what I was going to allude to, and it actually goes right into what you were saying about that scene where they kiss at the end, Ken. I really appreciated that they didn't end up in bed together, even though Bill Mitchell, the actual president, is, pretty much in a coma from a stroke. That Sigourney Weaver's character and Kevin Kline's character didn't hook up or anything. They did. I don't think they even really kissed. They just they were definitely.
That was weird. Such a passionate kiss at the end there when that was their first one.
Well, yeah, but I totally get that. And I really appreciate the innocence of that they didn't go to those places before her husband had passed away from that stroke. I feel like so many movies would have just like crossed that line so easily, and when they wouldn't even bat an eye at that. And I just really appreciate that they didn't do that in this film. So I want to speak to that. Good job, Ivan Reitman, even though you're not around anymore either, but still.
Yeah. The other thing I had to do this, I had to look up because Connie Weaver is a tall woman. Okay.
Oh yeah,
over 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
she's about an inch. She's an inch shorter than Kevin Kline.
So Kevin Kline's that tall? Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
He's about an inch taller than you, Captain, if you look at the video.
My head disappeared.
I had to look it up because I know she's a tall woman.
Yeah.
So he's 6'1.5". I think she's 6'1".
Okay.
So just right by
I was
height,
wondering about that. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for looking that up, Ken. Wow, so many things to like about this movie, but you know what? We do gotta get along to the things we don't like.
Yes.
Except I forgot one more thing I liked. Wah, wah, wah. Stunning and Brave. Each week, hosts Chris Cowan of the Babylon Beat, and Nate Henderson of Some Boring Budgeting Job confess their privilege, spotlight stunning social media posts, and fabricate outrage, all while keeping you super woke and enlightened. They will make you laugh. That's right. You have no choice. Check out Stunning and Brave at stunningandbrave.net.
That's great, Francisco. Did they cover Dave or what's going on? Why do you like them?
Sometimes they bring up the president, probably. I'm sure they have at some point.
Sure. Oh, you're right. I have no doubt that they have brought up Broughton. That's an English word now, along with all the current politics.
No, Dave was stunning and brave.
Oh, that too. For standing up to
me?
Frank Langella. Yeah.
Standing up and
making jobs for everyone somehow. All right. Well, maybe there isn't a direct connection from Staying Brave to Dave, Paul. All right, I'll give you that.
Woohoo!
How about
finally?
How about some trivia about Dave? the
Yes,
movie
much
Dave?
better. Let's have
All
some
right.
trivia.
Did you all realize that Sigourney Weaver's hair is short in this film?
Yes, I
And
did notice that.
I mean, yeah, good. I'm glad you were paying attention. It's short and it's like a neck length or just above neck length, and that's because she shaved her head for her previous movie, Alien Cubed. It's actually Alien 3, but the exponent. and all.
I thought she was trying to go for the Gozer look. Okay.
No, though that would have been funny.
That was good.
My question to you guys is, what actor or actress do you think looks better bald or with a buzz cut than with their hair head grown out?
I'll go
Let's
first.
start. Okay, yeah, Paul, go first. Go first.
I was gonna say. No, I will say. Die Hard, Mr.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. I think he looks good bald.
Yeah, totally.
Rather than in the first Die Hard movie.
Then
He has a
with the
little
Widow's
bit-
Peak. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Kevin. Who is it? Cranston. Bryan Cranston.
Oh, okay.
Oh, from Breaking Bad, right?
He looks better than he did in Malcolm in the Middle.
I thought he looked best as Zordon, but okay.
Oh, well, he's kind of hard to tell, but behind that tube and it's all stretched.
Let's see. Before we go on to you guys, we have some live in chat. Samuel L. Jackson says Geek Devotions. Yeah, that's
Nice.
strong. Let's see. Ashley says The Rock. That's going to be mine, Dwayne Johnson. Darn it.
Oh, I
Ashley.
thought he was talking about the movie.
The movie's bald, Paul, or not bald, but just has a shaved head.
Now
Whatever.
that you mention it. No.
Ken, how about you? Ken, what's your answer?
Well, if you ever watch my stream, you'll notice in my 5-minute rundown, there was a point in time when I was bald.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But I was gonna say The Rock, but it got
Yeah.
stolen. But Dave Bautista also.
Yeah.
Oh,
those, guys
that's
those two guys with hair, bald. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a woman, right? I was thinking of the whole controversy with Will Smith, right? I mean, Jada Pinkett Smith is good with a pretty much bald head. Not everyone can rock a bald head.
What about V'ger?
V'ger?
Who's V'ger?
Star Trek: The Motion Picture people.
Oh, that. Oh,
I've
no,
never,
no,
I've
no,
never seen
no.
it, Paul. Sorry.
No, no. No, I don't think that looked that good for her. Okay, no.
All right.
How about you, Dale?
Well, since everybody's already picked The Rock and Sam Jackson, I was thinking more of someone that you regularly see with a full set of hair, but has done roles bald, like Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane and Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
I think he looked. I liked how he looked in that role in that
Yeah.
movie.
You look good bald.
And then obviously Patrick Stewart. He's always
Yeah.
Totally Patrick Stewart. Yes,
he's always looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't
Awesome,
remember him
guys.
having hair.
He has a little bit in the early
yeah,
episodes
little
of
bit.
Next Gen, but
Barely.
Yeah. He's always been kind of bald, but yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Geek Devotion says his favorite celebrity is Francisco,
yeah,
The Captain.
but The Rock has that smolder. The Captain has that shine.
do we have to read those chat messages?
Yes, we have to.
Oh my goodness.
Let's
We
keep
have
moving,
to.
folks. We're walking.
Yes.
We're walking.
Okay.
Okay, great
we're
trivia,
gonna
Francisco.
continue. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Now let's have some trivia fun ourselves. Let's find out what you, our awesome rewinders, had to say about your memories of Dave.
Indeed. Catherine Chamberlain says, "This big." I love this movie.
This big.
Oh,
with the-
okay,
with the
sorry, I got the
robotic arm.
intonation wrong.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about one of my dislikes here in a second, so I'm sorry. Continue.
All right. Aaron Wallace says, I love this movie. Kevin Kline is so funny in it.
Kevin Joshua Burnham says, it's okay.
Nathan James Norman says, I remember Sigourney Weaver figured it all out because Kevin Kline was checking out her legs. And
Oh yeah.
and
was
her
it.
real husband hadn't done that in a while.
Uh-huh. Dustin Warford says, love that one. I think it was one of the best switcheroo movies I've seen.
Drake Thompson says, quote, I once caught a fish and it was This
big. All right.
Also, it was a drama with some funny parts, and I remembered the underlying premise and some of the more dramatic scenes.
Stephanie Russell says, based on my not knowing this at all, I'm like, wait, President Dave?
David Bopke says, I wasn't in this. I wonder what else shouldn't have been in this.
Well, let's talk about that, Bobo. What shouldn't have been in Dave? Because it just wasn't quite good. Let's spin up our worst three things. And let's start with Paul this time. What's one thing you didn't like about Dave?
I don't know. It's because I've seen this before, so I was kind of anticipating, but they set it up kind of earlier on when Dave took over the president that it would just be for a couple weeks while they set up the vice president to fall and take the blame. So this was only supposed to be a couple weeks. And that couple weeks while watching the movie kept dragging on, and then it seemed like after Frank Langella's character came out and said bad things about the president, like he's in trouble, the news said, okay, it's been a couple weeks since that came out. Like, man, this guy's in office for like a year. How long is this going on?
I feel like it is months, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just felt a little bit off for something that was supposed to be temporarily. I believe it's more believable when it's shorter. If you're that president for that long, it's kind of like, hey, something's gonna mess things up.
He's gonna slip up somehow.
Yeah, somebody's gonna find out. So it was me and my anticipation, like, okay, it's gonna end, but it didn't. Maybe it's the pacing of that last part. I'm not sure. But
yeah, that's totally fair, Paul. Ken, I'm curious, was something about this unpaced or unbalanced for you?
Nope, I did not have to see, even though it's kind of obscured, Kevin Kline's bare butt. I mean, it's okay to say he's in the shower scene, so the whole scene between him and Gordon Weaver, open the door up, he's kind of embarrassed, like, when you turn around, and it's like, after all, I mean, you're married, right? But for him, it was like,
exactly,
yes. See, before that, I was coming into the shower, it's like, okay, that's what happens in the White House. White House is a pretty ski-through showers. I'm like, but didn't need to see that, okay? So
yeah, that's fair. I mean, I needed to see it
because his butt was this big.
Oh my gosh. Wow. No, I totally get that though, Ken. I totally get that.
A Fish Called Wanda. He was in that movie too. That's why.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you think that was a homage to Fish Called Wanda?
No, I was just thinking you guys were talking about a fish, and I just thought fish just went. Never mind.
Okay, gotcha. Dale, what's something you didn't like about Dave?
Well, the scene that Kenneth loved, I didn't really care for.
Oh,
the moment that they were stopped by the police.
Yes,
that whole tomorrow thing and the
kind of cheesy.
For some reason, it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
Maybe it's because maybe a couple years before, King Ralph had a similar scene, and
that's with John Goodman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Sully.
I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I didn't.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either.
Oh, okay.
That's whatever.
I'm glad you enjoy it. It just,
I liked it.
It just didn't work for me. It just. I found it irritating, annoying.
I found it unbelievable.
I didn't think it would. I just didn't enjoy it. I'm sorry.
This movie's about lying. Can't you come up with a better lie? Come on.
Oh my gosh. Well, Paul, don't lie to me. What's something else you didn't like?
Okay. You guys
actually scratch that. I haven't shared any of my likes. So I'm gonna go.
You know what, Captain? First. Go ahead. Take this one.
Thank you. And then we'll go with you, Paul. Yeah. And this is very minuscule.
Okay, they're on to me then.
One of the things he does during this months of being the president, which I totally agree with you, Paul. It's like some crack is gonna show.
Yeah.
And he throws the pitch out at one of a baseball game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure the actual length of that pitch is pretty far, and you have to be pretty good at baseball to throw that far.
No,
so
that's the point.
and he gets it right away. So I feel like they should have seeded that he was good at throwing things or something because
They did.
They did? Oh.
Yeah, it's very quick. At the beginning of the movie, he's opening up his drawers, and inside one of his drawers is a baseball glove and a ball.
Oh,
It's
okay.
only there for a split second. So
I
they
did
did
not.
That's
see
right.
Okay, I didn't notice that. That's all right. That's fair. I will retract that dislike
I told
and
you, not to
go
me.
with my auxiliary dislike that I don't know where tomorrow comes from.
Yeah.
They should have told me if it's Annie
should watch
or
Oliver.
Oliver. I
Yeah.
need to know these things.
Yeah. I think
In
Kensington almost had a
93.
stroke there.
Oh,
But it was a
my.
mild one. Don't worry, folks.
Unless we have someone that looks just like you, Ken, no stroking. Dale, not Dale, Paul.
Yes.
Let's go back to you. So what's something else you didn't like?
All right, finally. You guys had mentioned before this whole confrontation thing about like firing Frank Langella and all that, which is total baloney. Like the first time he's in that, I get it. It's in like the 100th whatever conference thing, so the reporters are there, and he's like, "Hey,
Yes.
let's change the budget."
Mhm.
Frank's getting up and saying, "Hey, we can't do this," and he's like, "Why not?" Fine, he'll let it go for the cameras. I can be persuaded to believe that.
Yeah.
The moment after that meeting or the days, that afternoon, that evening, days after that is a whole lot of time to get Dave fired, killed, or whatever behind closed doors. That would any progression of the movie beyond that is a little unfeasible to me.
But how would he? Let's say he killed him. What would happen then?
Like I said, he was there for months, right? They had
Yeah.
plenty of time to like, okay, stick it to him. We're pinning all the stuff on him now. It's coming out tomorrow. Like we're getting rid of him ASAP.
All right, but then the vice president. I don't know. I guess it goes to the Speaker of the House after that. If they're
Yes,
all,
I don't know how
but-
Frank Langella thinks
yeah.
he's going to be president based
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the line
exactly.
out there.
Well, no.
Exactly.
He said we're going to get the Ben Kingsley has to resign.
yeah.
Okay, and then U.S. president can then appoint a vice president, which means you appoint me, because I used to be a senator. Then I'll be vice president, and then they can, get rid of the president, and then he'll be president.
Oh, I see. Okay, I missed that. Along with the baseball glove, apparently. Okay.
It was. I do remember that line. It was a quick one, but yeah,
Yeah.
it just seemed like unfeasible. Like you can fool the people, but to switch that power for people who've been playing the power game for years is unbelievable to me.
Okay, that's fair. Let's see, Dale. What wasn't fooling you about this movie?
Okay. I understand that he's supposed to be a doppelganger. He's the dead ringer.
Yes,
Or
a dead ringer.
ringer.
Doppelganger is a demon.
But you
Dead
would
ringer
think-
is someone who looks just like you. Yes.
But you would- But it's a wonder that no one else could see any
Right.
differences. But you would think someone would especially the girl that he was fooling around with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You would think she would notice or said something.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's the stroke. Now he's a new spring chicken. It's a
I
give him new
suppose
lease
so.
in life.
Well,
Yeah.
there was one guy who came in and said, "I've been reviewing
Oh yeah,
tapes,
that
right?
conspiracy.
And
that
I can
person
tell you
has.
this-
Oliver
yeah.
Stone. That was a great cameo.
Was that Oliver Stone?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oliver
That's
Stone
funny.
on Larry King show. Oliver,
Yes.
come on, that's right.
Well, I would just thought that someone other than just the first lady would have at some point would have said,
Picked up on
"Hey,
it. Yeah.
See, yep, too long being
notice
this. Yeah.
noticing some differences."
Yeah.
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 Agreed.
He may be a dead ringer, but somebody would have noticed some differences
fair enough.
between
Yeah.
even somebody would have picked up on it.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I don't
mhm.
know how long him and the vice president had been buddies, but you would think that he would have picked up something the moment he saw him. But I don't know.
Well, I think they had this line that you and me don't always see eye to eye or something. I got the sense that there was tension
True.
between them, that he was like picked, the vice president Nance was picked just like to sort of as a olive branch to maybe his other political side or something. But
Well,
And they sent him to Africa for 7 months, I think it was,
Yes.
or 7 weeks.
yeah.
Well, when he asked him about his past, I would have felt that he would have known that.
Oh
then-
yeah, that Nance would have known about Dave's or Mitchell's past. Yes, I get that.
But that's one of my pet peeves, negatives. I would have thought somebody would have picked up, somebody else other than the first lady would have figured him out.
Yeah.
Besides Oliver Stone, somebody much closer.
Yeah.
I totally get that. But let's go with Ken next. What do you think they should have figured out? What should the movie have figured out not to have done?
Well,
that's the segue I was going for.
No, it's the reason why my second dislike was the fact that he made this feel good speech. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
the
like
one at the one at the end you're talking about?
Well, different ones, okay. But
he had several.
Yes.
I wrote down my notes. Feel good speeches that come from movies and never seen to come from reality. It is like totally stupid to put into a movie. I mean, I saw it in the Captain America: Winter Soldier when in the TV series, right at the very end, he makes a speech about.
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
right?
and everyone's listening to him. That's what I found unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm like so stupid. I'm just like whatever. I was like, how many times do movies do this? I'm like, I'm done. I mean, they're trying to tell us something through the movies, and that's maybe what they're trying to do, right? But I'm like, it's so stupid to hear a feel-good speech that will never come true because it's all not based on reality. So.
Oh, you've been burned too many times.
I'm curious, Ken. Is there any speech that comes to mind that
we will not go quietly into the night?
We will not vanish without fight. We're gonna go on. We're gonna survive. Today is our Independence Day.
Exactly.
That was a better one, but that was a
honestly. Go ahead, Ken.
That was a sci-fi movie. Okay, that wasn't a reality movie. Okay, this is more of a reality movie because think about it. This happened during 1993, so Clinton was president, right? And so there's a lot of like some reality in this movie. That's all.
So what's funny is and I get that, Ken. What's funny is Paul started quoting it, and I was looking it up because I wanted to quote it exactly, and I got a little flub because you beat me to the punch there, Paul. But yes, I definitely like the ID4 speech. I guess, Ken, I feel like, first off, in reality, speeches are so much longer than anything in movies. And they are, in movies, I think you're trying to build an emotional resonance, and that's not really what speeches, I guess, should do that in a way, but often don't really. I feel like they might speak to one side of the aisle as opposed to everyone. So I totally get that.
I mean, it was a beautiful speech. And I'm like, whatever. That's not reality. Okay, so hey, bye.
Yeah, where are these invisible jobs coming from? Like, how does he make them appear?
Okay, guys, you're getting right into my tragic maker here, so I'm gonna do a quick. My last dislike was the robot arms. I thought that was too goofy. I just thought that was too goofy.
I like
for this movie.
Arm with the Louie
with the big, and he's in that factory. I thought that was just too
fun.
It's fun, but it's too goofy.
No,
I don't see a president doing that. I'm sorry. I totally bought him.
Myself doing that.
Are you the president?
No, but I'll tell you what, this movie has an impact on me. Whenever I'm sorry, but whenever I see someone who has like missing arms or missing legs, so oh no, poor Will, he has no legs. I don't say it out loud, but that whole thing of like, oh, he has no ears, he has no eyes. Whenever I see somebody in real life that is missing body parts, that scene comes to mind.
I don't remember that. Was
All right,
that from
at the homeless shelter? They're reading a book to the kids.
Yes, I remember. That. Okay, I was thinking this is happening at the robot factory. Okay.
Well, it's in the same sequence as that.
Okay. Is it though? I don't think it is. It doesn't matter, regardless. So I thought that was too goofy. You guys thought that was fun. That's totally fair. Okay, my tragic maker, and this is. We're doing this patriotic month. There's going to be a little politics in this, so buckle up.
Watch out, controversy.
So in his jobs, Dave, again, is impersonating the president. He gives a speech about he wants, and he's coming from a great place because he's a temp a temp agent, someone who gives people temp work.
Yeah. Right.
And
that's his business.
yeah, his job is finding other people jobs. And so he wants to start this program that every single United Statesian will have a job. Yes. And that's his platform now. He wants to make sure everyone has a job. And that's great. I'm totally behind that. That's awesome. Personally, I'm speaking. But then it cuts to a bunch of people, like all these like politicians that are actual politicians and stuff, and everything following that speech gives the sense that, like, one of the reporters even says this is the biggest move since FDR and the big deal. I'm like, nothing that he said was saying that he's going to make government jobs for everyone. So why is that the assumption and not the assumption that we're going to cut small business taxes to near nothing so everyone can start their entrepreneurial endeavors without a government taking from them? Or we're gonna make starting companies in new locations easier so that we can increase job growth. Nothing on that side. It's all like, oh, big government is going to take care of everything for you.
Big promises with nothing to back them up.
I know, right?
Speech, I thought of Roosevelt's Works Project Administration. Okay.
Yeah.
Not actually like you said, getting rid of make it so it's easier for corporate, get rid of regulations and spur the economy.
Exactly. So that's if you disagree with my political bent on that, that's fine. We can disagree. That's fine. But I would have liked there to be I guess more nuance in this movie. That like maybe some people were saying, oh yeah, this is what this means. We're gonna cut taxes on
feel good speeches that are based in reality.
Yes, the feel-good speech that apparently wasn't based in reality. I wish the reactions to it were based in reality. And well, actually, I guess they wouldn't have been based in reality. The way they did it was probably based in reality. But I would have liked both sides. Like in the McLaughlin group, I thought that was supposed to be like these like people of dissenting opinion saying, "Oh, I think this means he's gonna just create this huge bureaucracy, or he's going to make all these government jobs." And someone else like, no, he's going to cut taxes for corporations or small businesses. Or I just wish there was some of that in this. It felt very one-sided, not surprising from a Hollywood movie, but I feel like I would have liked it to be a little more nuanced.
That's a good point, because when I was talking, they actually had actual senators, in cameo roles. Yeah, and when they were pointing toward the Democrat senators, the people who actually were names I recognized back in the day, right? We're all like, yeah, good,
this is
and
great,
and all the Republicans were like, bad. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you literally trying to say you gave the mic to this Republican senator to say something like that would make him look bad in this movie?
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't
really
think about that, but yes. Huh.
Yeah.
This is getting way too political. What's this movie about?
I don't know. Who knows
President
anymore, Paul? Why don't you bring us back with your Tragic Maker, Paul?
My Tragic Maker is, okay, I understand Kevin Kline's character looks like the other Kevin Kline's character, but I want to know how a muggle got a hold of some polyjuice potion to look exactly like the president. It doesn't make sense. All right, no, that's the joke. My Tragic Maker... I'm
shaking my head over here.
I'm laughing. That was a good one.
is much like Kennethan's, like he didn't want to see the but I didn't want to hear the first meeting of these two people together be taking the name of the Lord in vain as a swear word as soon as they meet. So I just thought it was unnecessary.
Wait, when Sigourney Weaver and Dave kissed,
when Kevin Kline met Kevin Kline, when these two people first met, the president and his replacement.
Yes.
The president.
I love Keanu in this movie.
Uses the name of the Lord in vain, and I was like, that's unnecessary.
Yes. Yeah, I can get behind that. Absolutely, Paul.
Is it a big behind? Is it
this big? Okay, we're going. We're walking. Let's go.
Let's keep moving, folks. Exactly. We're walking.
And let's walk to Ken's Tragic Maker. What did you have, Ken?
it's the reason why they actually had to get a double in the first place. Okay.
They can sleep with other
service,
women.
everybody was like, "We gotta get a double." We do this all the time for different things, right? It's because they like fine. I thought it was gonna be more like it's a misdirect where he can go off to have a secret meeting with some
That's
high-ranking
exactly what he
officials,
did.
right? But no, he went off to have a trice with Laura Linney, okay, another actress who recognized from Dave, right? But I'm like, and like what? He's having an affair.
Yes.
93.
Yes.
Now, mind you, this is before Monica Lewinsky, but this
is it
during
before? Oh,
the
okay.
Clinton administration. Okay, so
Interesting.
I thought it was interesting. 'Cause apparently, I was watching it on Amazon Prime, and they were saying that both President Obama and Clinton liked this movie. I'm like,
well, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Clinton liked it in '93. I don't know. Afterwards, I'm like, when she had a double. But I'm like, that's the reason for the double, because having an
I
affair.
should have had a double.
Yeah.
He had a stroke.
I mean,
while having sex. Okay, I'm like, all right, okay. What a lousy premise for. Okay,
a lousy.
I will give some pushback to that. I didn't like it either. I will agree with that. My pushback to that is I feel like that makes it more sympathetic to Sigourney Weaver and I forget what's her name in this film. Not Zool. Oh my gosh, Ellen.
Yeah.
Ellen.
That's a fair statement.
Falling in love with Dave. I feel like that. Otherwise, it's like other than being maybe a bad president or a jerk president. Why are you so mean to? Because obviously they have a long history of like growing apart. That's fine, but you can't really encapsulate that quickly. But having an affair makes it very, very quick. Oh, okay. There's a lot of baggage and hurt in their marriage. It makes sense why she could fall for Dave later.
I think one of the unsung writers of this movie is probably Hillary Clinton. Okay, she wants to giving people some information.
I'll tell you what I think is even worse than that is Sigourney Weaver's character at the end. You like it at the end where like, she sticks with Dave at the end. But if you think about it, that's just sad. That's like Jackie Onassis falling in love with all these President Kennedy lookalikes and impersonators and like marrying. No, that would be sad if she did. It's exactly It's like Priscilla Presley falling in love with all these Elvis impersonators. It would just be sad. People wouldn't think like, oh, what a nice, happy, feel good movie. No, it's sad. It's just, oh.
I don't find it sad, but I see what you're saying, Paul. But I feel like it's like, well, it's I don't know. One of you said, I forget who it was, that she sort of had the same package, but the interior was way different and somewhat way more. Connected with her.
I like the peanut butter filling instead of the creamy filling.
God.
What do you?
Anyway, there's just all sorts of filling in this movie, or feelings about it, I should say. Dale, what did you feel the worst about when it came to the movie, Dave? What was your tragic maker?
Well, I started this little discussion talking about how good it was to see all the actors, but one actor that I didn't really care for was Charles Grodin.
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
I'm not the only one.
Some reason he seemed like he didn't. To me, he didn't seem like he fit in this movie. He looked like I know the character himself didn't want to be there, but it always looked like that Charles Grodin didn't want to be there himself.
Yeah, I kind of sense that as well.
But
I sense that in a lot of his films.
Well, I don't know how old he was in the movie, but I know they were trying to young him down some.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There was something in this movie. I didn't feel like he belonged. Yeah, he didn't seem like he wanted to be. He didn't look like somebody who wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Again, I know the character. It's himself didn't want to be there in the White House or whatever, but the actor himself didn't. He just looked, and you could tell he was. I don't know if he was wearing a toupee or that's his actual hair, but you could tell that he wearing one. If you either way,
That hair did not look natural for a 58-year-old.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was talking about, Dale. I'm like, as you're describing, I'm like, you're right. I didn't think about that. Charles Grodin. I like seeing Charles Grodin, but you're right. He was like out of place. Maybe it was just like a paycheck for him. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, I don't know if they were doing. I know Bonnie Hunt was in this. I don't know if they were doing Beethoven at the same time, but it just seemed like he didn't want to be there to me.
Yeah,
so that took me out every time I saw him.
Yeah.
So
Beethoven came out the year before.
It was nice to see him in the movie, but for some reason he didn't look like he wanted to be there. So
yeah,
that's just me.
All right, let's do a quick flash recast. Who'd you see in the Charles Grodin role besides Charles Grodin? Let's start with Paul.
Off the top of my head, Martin Short.
Okay, Martin Short. How about you, Ken?
Harold Ramis.
Oh yeah. I could see that. Dale.
I haven't a clue at the moment.
Bill Murray.
I was gonna go
Bill
Dan
Murray,
Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd.
Aykroyd too, yeah.
I feel like Aykroyd was there.
Yeah, any of the Ghostbusters guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Any substitute you want, the Ghostbusters will
Oh,
work.
Rick Moranis. Of course,
Rick
he's the
Moranis.
CPA in
Yes.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, good day, eh? Yeah.
That's funny.
Awesome.
Did you know Dan Aykroyd was nominated for an Oscar?
No.
For-
For what movie?
I think it was My Fellow Americans.
Okay.
That are my Driving Miss Daisy, I think.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
I got to look it up, but I remember he got nominated for an Oscar once.
Oh, cool.
Charles
What's that, Paul?
Grodin did. He came out, not only Dave, but So I Married an Axe Murderer, Heart and Souls, and Beethoven Second all came out in 1993. He was just overworked.
Maybe.
That's what it is, okay?
I forgot he's in Heart and Souls. That's right. All right, guys. Well, we've entered all our trajectories into the fire.
Driving Miss Daisy. Right, Driving Miss Daisy. You got it.
Oh, for Dan
Best
Aykroyd.
supporting actor, he was nominated. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow, interesting. Didn't know that.
We've entered all our trajectories in the firing computer for Dave. Not.
Oh,
Travis.
yeah. We got to get back to that.
Let's keep moving, folks.
Alice.
We're walking.
Do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
Trying to get our authority out.
All right. Time to get your veto pens out or your signing bill pens out, whatever you would say. Do we rate Dave a classic? We'd recommend anyone go and watch this film, whether or not you've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth revisiting again if you remember watching it whenever, since 1993. Maybe you liked it back then. It'd be worth to rewatch again. Or is it a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time today. If you've never seen it before, keep it that way. And if you have seen it before, don't rewatch it because rewatching it will sully any good memories you have. And no, this is not the salvo of authority to all you here live who's spamming that.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Use your salvo authority. You started it, Captain. They're just following orders.
Salvo at the ready. Dale,
What's that?
what was your final reign for Dave? You predicted nostalgic. What did it end up being for you?
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
This is a. It may not be a great movie, but it's a cool movie. When I first saw this movie, I called it flipping through channels. I never saw it in the theater or anything.
Oh, okay.
But it's one of those movies that you can sit down on a Sunday afternoon and just chill out with.
Yes.
Sure. It's not something I would see in a theater, but like I said, it's a cool movie to chill out with.
Awesome. Let's go to Kim next. What is your final reign?
I went in nostalgic, okay?
Yep.
And as I was thinking about watching it, I figured, I'm going to raise the tragic at the end, okay? But in the end, I'm saying nostalgic.
Oh, okay.
I can't say classic. I don't think it holds up on certain aspects of it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it's I think I'm nostalgic. If you saw it before, then go see it again. But if you haven't seen it, unless it's free, I paid $3 on Amazon Prime because we're free. Then don't pay for it.
Very fair. Paul, let's go to you next.
You
had predicted classic, so high bar.
Yeah. My final rating is still classic. I enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
It's if you haven't seen it before, I wouldn't say drop everything you have and go. This is a must see. Absolutely not. It's right what Dale said. If you sit down, nothing to do, I think it's enjoyable enough despite its flaws. So I'd recommend it. If someone said, "Hey, let's put this on," I'm like, "Yeah, let's go for it."
Alrighty.
It's kind of like a Monty Python Holy Grail movie type thing.
Anyway, we're moving on. So we're gonna keep walking or whatever she says. We're moving on, people.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking.
I didn't need the whole drop again, Paul.
But the whole thing is we're walking, we're stopping. You should have had the stopping too. Never mind.
We're getting there. We're still walking though.
My final rating is I predicted nostalgic. And I had a lot of fun with this movie. I was surprised at how fun and delightful it was and sweet in a lot of ways. I felt like it had a good amount of heart. It's not like the most a movie with tons of heart, but it definitely has some.
It's not like Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's not Princess Bride, sure. So I actually rated it a classic as well. So we are at a draw, which means we have to go to our patrons at the $5 more level, our Rewind Republic, and they will help us decide the final reign for Dave. So
can I vote again? Can I vote?
Francisco from the no, you can't, Ken. Francisco from the future. What is the final reign for Dave? Okay, so guys, what we're gonna do is this is, I guess, Edna mode. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. We're gonna do 2 reactions. One if it ends up being a classic, and then one if it ends up being a nostalgic.
Okay.
All right.
So if the patrons vote tragic,
it'll be nostalgic.
Okay, it's in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
They can't overthrow it that much. They don't have that much sway. Okay, so it's either going to be nostalgic or tragic. You guys just chime in how you want to. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but we're gonna do
baby.
2 passes for that. We'll start with the classic one. Okay, here we go. And 3, 2, 1. Whew. See, thank you, patrons, for agreeing with me and Paul. You're Captain and XO.
Accounting for taste.
Hey,
whatever.
That's because the accountant Charles Grodin passed away.
Exactly.
There was a hanging chad there. Okay, you decided to the wrong vote. Okay, so you better go re-vote again. Recount the vote. I'm sure you got it wrong. Okay.
No, you can't admit defeat. This is all familiar. Moving on.
But according to the Retro Rewind podcast, thanks to our Rewind Republic, we rate Dave a disputed classic film. We'd recommend anyone go see it, whether or not you've seen it before. All right, now we're going to do the nostalgic take.
As chief communications officer, I'm going to cut everybody off now. No communication.
Whatever. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Well, I mean, I could see why. I mean, Ken and Dale, you obviously thought it was nostalgic, and I predicted that. So, yeah, I could see why the patrons would have gone that way.
I don't. I demand a recount.
No, rewinders are smart. Okay, they're very smart. They understand these things. Okay,
they are rad, but I don't know. This is pretty fun movie. Anyway,
it also helps that I did kind of give them free.
Oh, you swayed the vote.
Is that how this goes?
Is that how you manipulate the votes these days? Okay.
It's like Ken's a regular Frank Langella over here. Jeez. Just signing and vetoing whatever he wants.
Wow, I didn't know we had Skeletor aboard. All right.
Oh, my goodness. Well, according to Retro Rewind podcast, thanks to our Rewind Republic, thank you, patrons, we rate Dave a disputed nostalgic film. It's worth rewatching again, but if you've never seen it before, watch something else. All right, guys. Now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX?
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
You know what's fun? Frank Langella did get to be president as Nixon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Frost Nixon, right?
Yeah.
And that okay, cool. I never saw it. Was he any good in that?
Yeah, he was good in that.
I imagine he's good. I mean, he was great in this film.
I mean,
so,
he's Skeletor. Come on.
I mean, you can't get better than that. That's the top role right there.
You need a better
anyway. Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back.
Sorry.
Is it what?
I was just a health inspector's job to clean up when someone throws up because of the whole type of stuff.
Yes, because sometimes I throw up on the way back to our own time. Good old 20XX Ken. Thanks for
20XX.
I wasn't thinking of you. I was thinking of EB, but okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're back in 1993 now, and that's thanks to our amazing.
We're back in 20XX now.
Of course. Well, you know what? Time can be relative when you're floating through it all the time. Yes, you're right, relative. Paul. We're at 20XX.
20XX?
Thanks to our patrons.
Oh, yeah.
Our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keane, Patrick Hicks, Chris Cowan, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbear, Pastor Dewson, Kenneth, and you're right here. Redeemed Otaku, That's Our Baba, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, The Dapper Man Reviews, Tony from the Retro Days, Mr. Lost, Daryl Hafner, Rosie, in addition to 7 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, which I am very behind on right now. I'm sorry to all our current patrons on that. But if you're seeing this like 5 years in the future, then maybe it's all caught up by now, hopefully. You can head over to retroreonpodcast.com/support to start.
This stream sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
And while we're thanking people, we also want to give a big presidential hug to Dale and Ken for supporting us with their thoughts on Dave the movie, not the TV show. So, as I do, I like to start going by alphabetical order, which I believe is Dale.
I was going to say, so Kenneth and Paul.
Yeah. Well, this time we'll start with Dale. Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on?
I ain't got nothing cool going on, but you can find me hanging around on Facebook with Devoted Geek Life.
All right.
Awesome. Very cool.
And Ken Cummings, thank you for joining us again, and congratulations on your promotion, demotion, and then promotion again. So, where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on?
You can find me on Twitch at KennethN. You can find me on Twitter at KennethN Live. I'm not doing a show tonight because I'm doing this show.
Whoa,
but tomorrow I'll be on with Trinity MMO show with Sir Jaziel and Solomon, talking about MMO stuff, and then playing probably some WoW Classic afterwards. So yeah.
Why is it called the Trinity MMO show, Ken?
Because first off, as Christians, we believe in the Holy Trinity of God the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Second thing, as MMO players, we understand the idea of Trinity of tank, heals, and DPS. Okay, and third, because there's 3 of us, 1, 2, 3 of us. That's 3, and oh my gosh, there's 3 of 3s, and you got Trinities coming out all over the place.
Whoa!
It's like the Matrix.
Gosh. It's like a Triforce of Trinities.
There you go.
Awesome! Thank you again so much, Dale and Ken, and my awesome VP, Paul Powers.
Yeah.
And all you rewinders, new and old, for another fun voyage.
And you're welcome. You can find me, PaulJPowers.com, where I have all my social media links, and find out what's going on with me at PaulJPowers.com.
Whoa, who could have thought? Find me on Discord, Francisco, for show announcements or just to say hi. And you can join us there at retroreonpodcast.com/Discord.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
.media. Oops.
Yes, as Nathan just said, we are now part of culturebox.media, the Culture Box network. There, find all the shows unpacking truth through story, comedy, and geekery at Culturebox.media, not cult. Culturebox.media. And with that, Captain, we are on final approach to the cottage.
Cottage?
Hopefully they'll let us in.
I hope Olympus hasn't fallen, but thank you, EXO, and thank you all for listening. We pray you are more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for Rush Hour 2, our next episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
We're walking, and we're stopping.
That's actually really good because we are stopping. Nice. I like it. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Yes, culturebox.media. And yes, it is behind on the updates. That has a lot to do with my fault. Don't blame any of the other people on Culturebbox.
I blame this guy.
Cellcast,
He's the vice president.
Don't blame Cellcast, Untold Podcast, and Brave, or Geek Devotions. It's my fault, so I take the blame. You failed. You failed, Your Highness. Why did you fail, Geek Devotions? But Ken, Dale, Paul, if any of you need to take a water break before he gets to spiritual speculations, which may be a little thin this time, but that's okay. Go ahead and do that.
We'll see.
We will see. G. Tungsten says Frank Langella was the bad guy in DS9 too. Oh, really? I didn't know that. No, I can't blame you, Geek Devotions. You're like the busiest of all busy people. So how did all the things you had go today? I was praying for you all day. Not literally all day, but throughout the day, I'd be praying for you. At least twice. All right. Well, I guess we're all just good to go, guys. Did anyone come up with a spiritual speculation while we were talking?
Well, it was related to my tragic. Okay.
Yes.
The fact that they had to get the double because he was having an affair. He was. It's one thing. It's one thing. Fine, you and your wife are not getting along, and you're not.
Yeah.
But it's like I was watching Elvis today, the movie. Okay, and one of
the one with Kurt Russell.
No, the one that came out this weekend. But congratulations on knowing an older movie.
Yeah.
Unlike Oliver or Annie.
I mean, it is a John Carpenter movie, so I have to know that.
So no, this is like Tom Hanks plays Colonel Parker. It's kind of like also a story like how Parker built him up and also did some bad things. But anyways, there's a scene there with the actor who plays Elvis and the actress playing Priscilla Presley. And she's like, I don't care about all the women you've been, on tour, right? So literally, we don't even have a family. What's going on in life there? I'm like, but that's so in the day we don't see that. It's like he literally is having an affair, okay, with one of his staffers. Okay, we're like, I thought it was like, wow, 1993,
right?
This is all. So maybe no wonder Clinton liked this movie. Got the idea from the movie,
I mean, maybe I guess.
I know, but the idea is adultery. Okay.
Okay.
You commit adultery, and it's like, it's one thing if you go apart from your spouse, and I get that, okay, your mate, and all right, but then to actually commit adultery, you ruin lives.
Yes.
People say, it's an innocent sin between the two people. Like, no, it affects everybody else too. Okay, it has affected everybody. It affected him as president and his staff and his Secret Service. Everyone's got to hold a secret.
Are we starting our spiritual speculation?
Oh, sorry.
I hadn't yet. I was just wondering if Ken had one.
Okay.
But I appreciate you going into that. So we can definitely go into that, Ken. Dale, did you have one?
I may have a question.
Okay, that'll work. I'm still struggling other than like lying to people. Like I feel like we've talked about do the means justify the ends, all that. But I mean, we could certainly talk about that again. But maybe we could.
No,
maybe
I'm
we could
I'm not up for Rahab tonight, but I'll try.
But Solomon, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I also have an affair in order, Kappa.
In order, Kappa.
I mean, I know that Kappa isn't.
Oh, the Kappa is sorry.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what I have.
He has all his affairs in order.
Oh, affairs!
Affairs in
see,
order.
you need to plural, otherwise it makes no sense.
That's right.
There.
Affairs in order. Yeah.
Gosh, guess you gotta go eat a hamburger, Solomon. All right. Well, then we will go ahead and start, guys. spiritual speculation. And here we go. Welcome, Reflux Capacitors, our awesome patrons of the Retro Rewind podcast, to another spiritual speculation where we take a look at the spiritual themes and questions that the movies we cover on the podcast prompt us to think about. Before we covered the movie, this spiritual speculation is linked with the movie Dave, which you can listen to our review of that at retrorewindpodcast.com/253. Not that you have to listen to that, but sometimes some of the humor carries over to the spiritual speculation. Before we get into our discussion of Dave, though, spiritually speaking, let's go around real quick and say who we are, what our faith life was growing up, or what we believed growing up, and what we currently believe today. So I'll start. My name is Francisco. You probably know that already. And I was raised a Presbyterian, which is a Protestant denomination of Christianity. And currently I am a non-denominational Protestant Christian. Let's go with Dale next.
I used to be a Catholic. Now I'm Baptist.
Okay. Awesome. Ken?
Raised Presbyterian, non-denominational, but I had to find out because someone challenged me. What does that mean? I found out that basically our church is based on the 1689 London Baptist Confession of Faith. And no, I'm not a Baptist, okay? But
are you a Londoner?
I guess a Londoner, I guess, I don't know. But
Top of the morning to you, Governor.
Cheerio!
Basically reformed, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And Paul?
I grew up a pathological liar, deceiving everybody, pretending to be other people, and I got so in the thick of it that I was deceiving the whole country, and then I surrendered my life to Christ, and now I follow him.
That's good. Did a stroke have anything to do with that, Paul?
Maybe.
Just a mild one. You come back stronger. Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, let's start with Dale. I believe you had a question that the movie Dave prompted you to think about. What was that question?
Well, it's just we're dealing with him, Dave, being asked to impersonate the president, and then later he takes the role more seriously than he started out to be. He got where he got so comfortable into the role that he started to take advantage of it.
Oh.
Yeah, he started going his way and his agenda.
Just going to the kitchen, using whatever food he wanted, making whatever sandwich he wanted.
Yeah, that's taxpayers' dollars, people.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
Well.
No, but what do you mean more succinctly, or not succinctly, but more precisely, Dale?
Have you ever had a twin or a set of twins do the switcheroo with you?
Oh no, I haven't.
Heard of it.
And
yeah,
you have to guess who that one, which one is the right one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess where I'm trying to get to is but I think my question is dealing with fakers.
From He-Man.
Lately, that word Christian is so loosely used.
Oh yeah.
Faker Christians, yes.
When I go when I would go look for a car, the car salesman, when he would open up the conversation, he had to introduce himself as a Christian.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Not saying that he is or isn't. That's not. I'm glad
just
he
happened
is.
to be his name.
But it always bothered me. Why would you ever have to say that before we go into these business situations?
I know some people who only will deal with certain types of people and beliefs like that. Yeah.
Well, I don't. I'm not trying to get stuck with the car salesman. I'm just. It's been a year since I started. A year ago this time, I quit the church that I was at. And so I've been on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
I found a home church.
Mm-hmm.
I say that I'm not sure if it's where I'm supposed to be, but it's where God has me now.
Yeah.
And as I walk along, then I saw this movie. I saw this movie again, and it got me to thinking about where am I at with my Christianity? Am I walking around as a faker, or am I just...
Oh man!
Or you're actually living out what
Yeah,
Christ has called you to be. Yeah.
That reminds me of what I consider the scariest verse in all of the Bible. It's Matthew 7:21-23. Jesus says, ESV, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many, many works in your name?' And then I will declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness.'" And that's just like, dang.
Well,
I'm not.
I don't believe I have a problem with my faith. I think that's...
So you're secure in your salvation.
I haven't lost my faith. I'm just starting to question my, I guess, walkability in Christ. Am I doing the right things? Am I on the right path? I don't set out to fake anybody out, but at the same time, I don't want to be an impersonation of what a Christian should be, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
well, I think so. Something that me and my fiance have been talking about recently is like heart posture, and in our counseling sessions, and that's something that I feel like that's something that other people can't see. And so I guess it depends. Are you concerned with how other people see you? Like if they see you as a Christian or not based on what you're doing, or are you concerned with how God sees you and doing the things that he wants you to do? I think ideally, if you're doing what God's asking you to do, it will automatically look like you are doing what God's asking you to do to other people. I don't think those are all. There's a Venn diagram that overlaps a lot, but I don't think they're always necessarily the same thing. So I guess it depends on what you're focused on in that, like where your heart is sort of, if your heart posture is toward how God perceives you or how other people perceive you.
I guess the movie, watching the movie and watching the story transpire has just got me questioning my where am I at in the faith, or like I said, I know faithfully I know where I'm at. It's just where I'm at on my journey.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if I'm wording that right, or saying it right, but that's where I'm at the moment.
Yeah.
That's why I said I had a question.
And honestly, that's been a struggle I've had. Is like, am I doing all the things that God wants me to be doing? Am I like walking in a path that's directed toward him? I'm gonna ask Kenneth and his opinion on that. I do want to look up some lexicon wording though, Paul. So what was the verse that you just cited? Matthew what?
Faker Christian chapter.
What was it, Matthew? What?
Matthew 7 verses 21-23.
7 and then 21-23. And do you happen to know where it says everyone who calls on my name will be saved? What passage that is? Any of you?
There's every calls upon the name of the Lord.
So, Ken, while we're looking that up, what's your take on this? Like, how do you balance?
13 and Acts 2:21.
Okay.
Paul.
Go ahead. Ken.
Well, I'm saying
what's
Paul
your
talks
take on
about
this?
it's by faith that we are saved, not by works.
Right.
And then James mentions that the faith without works is dead.
You need both.
And so they don't contradict each other. They go together because if you have a faith and then you don't do anything with it, then you might wonder if you don't what you have with it, you know. And so what gets me is about the why is it that even the demons know the scripture,
right?
And it's like that's one of the things like where are the goats and the sheep? And you're like, wait a minute, there are those who are literally going to say, Lord, Lord, I've spoken your name, I prophesied your name, and yet you say, I don't know you. And that's where it's like, okay, well, that's definitely false teachers, false prophets, and that's where it's like, well, where do you actually land on your false teachers, false prophets? It's constantly learning where
right
you're
on
at.
their
It's
back.
a marathon.
Sorry, go ahead.
Wow, Paul.
It immobilizes them a little better.
Oh my gosh.
So I put
it's just.
So go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm just saying it has to do with the fact that there's no. I mean, others have better answers, right? But I get the point about being a fake, right? I mean, I think about I'm an engineer, right? There are tons of work. I'm wondering if I'm faking it. I'm just living like I'm faking it. I'd be an engineer, yet I know I have all the background, the knowledge, and the experience, and I can think about maybe faking, but I'm not faking it. And I'm like, so as a Christian, I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm not faking it. I read the Bible, I pray, I do the things that God asked me to do. I definitely concerned about my salvation, but I'm not going to worry about it because I also know that I'm saved. I'm not going to be worrying about it. It's like, God says, if you worry about every little thing, that's not really good. I'll take care of you. That's where the whole, I always quote Lee Strobel because his book, The Case for Christ, when he ran across all the logic, all the sound logic of Christianity in his brain, and he knew it, he had to make the next step of faith.
Right.
And that's what transformed his life. And we see it in our lives transformed, like who I was before isn't the same person I am today.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It's also a good movie, Case for Christ, if you haven't seen it.
So
organizing thoughts.
Exactly. So I'm gonna be very upfront with you.
You're not gonna be faker with us.
I'm not gonna be faker with you. I didn't absorb a lot of what you said, Ken, because I was busy looking this up. So I'm sorry if I'm not. I did not. That was not intentional. I very much value what you said, and hopefully the patrons guy. And I listening back, I'm probably gonna be like, why did I not listen to that? Because I would love to have responded to what Ken just said, but no, I'm busy looking up Bible verses.
Now we're making it longer
and longer.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking. We're walking.
Anyway, so we brought up some Bible verses, and pretty much Matthew 7:21 again, which is not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. And then Romans 10:13 and Acts 2:21 are very similar. They say, for whoever will call on the name of the Lord will be saved. That was Romans. Acts says, and it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So I was like wondering if maybe the name was different or Lord was different, but the word Lord is curry, and it's
curry.
the same in all of them. It all means Lord or Master. But
what is Joel 2:32?
I don't know. That wasn't one of them, so I wasn't sure why you put that in there.
Because one of them's quoting that one.
Okay, I'll look up Joel 2:32. Hold on, guys. Joel 2:32 says.
I wonder.
Maybe I put in the wrong one. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there will be a deliverance, as the Lord has said, even among the survivors whom the Lord calls. So
I always think those people who question and ask this question about being a fake actually have a faith because they're asking the question. It's those who don't ask, those who don't doubt, those who don't wonder, those who don't try to keep reading are the ones who actually are just like, I got know it all. Follow me, I know everything. So
it's okay, Ken. My pride tells me I'm okay.
So here's what I'm curious about. So here, this is the spiritual speculation. This is me doing speculating, and I could be off on this. I'm certainly. This is the type of this is one instance where I wish I was more of a biblical scholar and had some better understanding of where the mindsets of the people that were writing this were at the time. But if I'm just using my old English here, in Matthew 7:27, again, it says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who that does the will of the Father." So that's Jesus is telling the crowd, not everyone who says to me, "Lord, Lord." Now, in the Romans and the Acts and the Joel passage, they all say whoever will call on the name of the Lord. So I'm emphasizing name there.
Yeah.
And when you say when you call someone's name, there is more of a personal connection. You know them in some facet. You're not just like, oh, they're the boss, so I'm going to say Lord, Lord to, just to show them, oh, I'm a subject to you.
Point of order, I know Buddha's name, but I don't follow him.
But here's the thing. Okay, that's fine. But there is a point of knowing that the Lord is Jesus, the Lord is Yahweh, as opposed to, you're the guy in power? Okay, you're my Lord. Lord, I trust you, or what does it say?
So you're speculating that they have a personal connection because they know, like they're on a name basis.
Yeah, if you're on, it's because they're very similar. Otherwise, it's like Jesus saying, "Not everyone who calls me Lord, Lord will be saved," and then Paul and Joel and Luke, apparently Luke probably writing from someone else, says, and everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Right. That's like, both those can't be true. If Jesus is saying not everyone who says Lord, Lord will be saved,
right,
and they're saying everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved.
Oh, so you found a discrepancy, is what you're saying.
Well, and this is why I'm wondering. The word name is not in the Matthew passage. That where Jesus is the words of Jesus. So that's why I'm saying I wonder if there is something about, even one of you were quoting the demons that, and I was making this joke in Kenneth's stream, I think the other day, but where these people are trying to exorcise demons, and the demons say to them, Jesus I know, and Paul I know, but who are you? I think it's Paul. Yeah. And they just wail on these people,
they
and
beat them up,
and they run out naked.
Right.
So there is something about, well, I guess that sort of undermines my point, because they're exercising in the name of Jesus, and in the name of Paul, but they're not calling Jesus Lord necessarily. Right. We're not there, but there's no indication that they're calling Jesus Lord, and they're calling on him to be saved, as opposed to, I imagine, so here's how I imagine it. This is what's taking place in my mind, that God comes back, with an iron scepter on his horse, cloak, white cloak covered in blood. I think I'm getting the Revelation imagery right. Exuding lightning. He comes back, and then everyone, it says every knee shall bow at the name of Lord Jesus. But I think, go ahead, Paul. Am I getting that wrong?
I think that's in the Old Testament. But there's a translation where it said they're re-looking at that passage where it might need to be translated, every knee should bow. But
okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, regardless, I think everyone will recognize, okay, that is extreme power, and I cannot stand up to that. So, as a last-ditch effort, maybe if I just say, "Oh, you're Lord, you're Lord of my life," those people that don't really have this connection, that don't, sure, they probably know the name Jesus, but there isn't a connection of it's not like I'm saying, hey, guy with glasses, what do you think? Or I don't just call you XL, I call you Paul. Or, hey, the dude in the white cap, what do you think about this? Or, hey, that's
Super Dave or Super Dale.
You airline engineer, give me your take on this. I'm addressing you by Ken, Dale, Paul. There's a personal connection with that you don't have with just any old person. So I think that's, if I had to say it, there's something to that, but I'd have to, of course there would need to be more biblical scholarship to sort of.
Well, I'm reminded, you mentioned that, I reminded this one guy who saw.
Yeah, Lord is not his name. Exactly. Sorry, Ken, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I remember, was it that I think it was Paul, or it might have been Peter, or this guy Simon the sorcerer, I think it was, he saw them doing all these wonderful miracles. He goes, "Can I have that power too?"
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like he sees them calling on the name of the Lord. It's like, I don't have, like the one time Peter's, I don't have any money for you, but I do have one thing I can give to you. I heal you in the name of Jesus Christ. And so that Simon later on was like, I want that power too. It's like, you can't call on the name of the Lord and have power. Okay, but if you call on the name of the Lord, it's because you are actually following the Lord. You have to have that belief system. You have that and following. So just saying, well, just a name, I can use it, and so it's going to create power. It's like, but no, you have to actually be actually a follower, have the Holy Spirit in you, and being saved.
And have faith, and and then the works that sort of show that you do have the faith, and it's this weird tension. But
I think it's weird, but it's also simple in one. It's knowing Jesus as your Lord, both Lord and Savior. So Lord, that you'll do what He says, but also you're knowing Him as Savior, knowing that He'll save you, but also where I think a lot of people know Jesus as the Christ, as the president uses His name in vain, but he doesn't know Him as Lord. He doesn't obey what He says. So you need both.
Yeah. So Paul had asked me to look up Isaiah 45, which is this every tongue shall or
I'm
every
just
knee shall
curious
bow.
what the lexicon says on that. I just heard rebuttals saying that. Well, there's actually, so I don't know. I haven't researched it.
Let's see. I'm going to take it from that to me, every knee will bow, every tongue will swear allegiance. Okay. So that to me, every is the whole or all. That's the word kol in Hebrew. I'm not going to say these like Hebrew, but then knee is berek, which is the knee. I guess just the body part. Will bow is tikra, which here it says, strongest concordance says to bow down, and it's a primitive root, so that's probably just what it is. Every is again kol, which is to me that every. It's the same word.
Does that mean
kol.
like every one of a particular group, or is it all creation?
It says the whole or all. So it doesn't specify.
So does that mean like the whole Rad Rewinders, or does that mean like the whole Earth and everyone that's ever lived?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Tongue is just tongue. Will swear is to swear, or tishva.
Which is that vow, not to cuss, right? It's like
that's
a
to
promise.
swear as in it's a diminutive.
Oh, okay.
Of Sheba, which is
that's
Sheba
from
means,
Temple of Doom.
Oh my god!
You betrayed Sheba.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that doesn't. That probably doesn't help you much, Paul. But
all right, but thanks for looking into that.
Yeah, you bet.
All right.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking. We're walking.
Gosh, all right.
I can't help but thinking about this movies you see people, or even real life people, get amnesia, and who they are now isn't the same person they were then.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait, what? No, wait. Just because you have amnesia doesn't change your nature. It seems like, but I mean, we all know as followers of Christ, of being born again, our natures are. Where sin nature doesn't change, but we are reborn. We are new creatures. Okay, we are different.
Spirit.
Even though I was like, Peter. Peter is still
a hot
Saint
head
Peter.
in a way. Oh yeah.
Yeah, even after he became saved, right? But he was different. His whole demeanor was different. But he was still the same old. That's why people will say, everybody needs a Peter and a Paul. You can't have all can't be the same.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like there's what do I want to say of that? I think
you forgot Mary.
Oh my
sorry.
Gosh. Wow. That's very well said though, Ken, that there can be actual change. I think a lot of people when like, let's say there's some criminal and then other people will flippantly say, oh, they found Jesus. But I think there is an element to you can, when you do find that actual relationship, it does change you. And there are, I don't know about amnesia. I know that happens in movies, but I know there's some that I tend to see in movies, and I think it does happen in real life. At least I've heard from other people, and I've experienced something like it. Is a heart attack moment where all of a sudden you see things so differently, like maybe the sky's bluer, air smells better. I mean, there is
you have a new appreciation on
new
life.
appreciation for life. Yeah, you realize, I don't have just endless time. I need to make things count. It can change your perspective in a dramatic way, and I think finding Christ can do that. I have this issue where sometimes I feel sad that I've been a lifelong Christian because I don't have that change experience that so many people do have. But at the same time, I've been spared so much, certainly not all, but a lot of heartache that would happen for people that do come to the faith later in life. So
and you have the impossible task, I'll say, to die every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to do that even longer than most other people, for sure. Yeah. That's a good point, Paul. But any other thoughts on either lying or we didn't talk about lying. What was yours? Okay. Oh, being a faker or faking people out, or how you seen between God and men, or anything else in that realm before we move on?
I'm good.
Going once, going twice.
Let's keep moving, folks. We're walking.
Thank you, Bonnie Hutt. Ken, what did you have for spiritual speculation?
Well, it's the fact that the whole reason for the flip was he committed adultery. It's like that's adultery was punishable by stoning back in the day. That's what when God gave all the rules to the Mosaic Law, right? That was one of the things. And it's like,
by the way,
nowadays we're like,
just for context, in case people are listening to this but haven't seen the movie. So Bill Mitchell is the name of the president. He gets this imposter, Dave, they're both played by Kevin Kline, to look like him to exit this place so that he can go have an affair with an aide. What's
aide? I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Secretary. Okay. So continue, please, Ken.
I don't know.
I caught that.
Anyway, I don't know if
go
it was intern or not, but she was young. But anyways,
yeah.
It's like people think that it's like adultery is just between two people, and it's like but the marriage has already been busted anyway, so it's no big deal. I mean, in this movie, his wife, the first lady, knows he's having these dalliances, right? She's just she's doing it because she's saying the first lady because she understands the greater good she's trying to do.
Yeah,
and the position she has and the power she has, she can do things. So he's willing to suffer a bit. But I'm like, but he committed adultery, and people, it ruins lives. I mean, just think about the fact that this president had to lied about this, and everybody knew he was having this affair, which means Secret Service, his staff, right, everyone, which means they had to hold it back, they had to live with it, they had to. Like I said, it's like the damage he was doing, not just to his marriage, but the whole overall about who people might think he is. I mean, people like well, yeah, John F. Kennedy had an affair, or this always happens, but we're looking at the big greater good, but still that. The fact that he broke his commitment to his wife, this came up definitely when it came up during Clinton back in when his impeachment, was the fact that how can you trust a person if they're not willing to be faithful to their wives?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's like that's where it's like, so everyone involved was like that's why it's like adultery is bad, don't do it, okay, stay faithful. And it's just like he broke one of the 10 Commandments, which is a big one. It's the reason why it's on the top 10 list.
Well, he also used the name of the Lord in vain, so he's on a roll.
Yeah, good point. And he didn't care, really. He wasn't a spiritual guy.
Right.
You know what that makes, and that really resonated with me, Ken, what you said about how if we can't trust if the president isn't even faithful with his wife, who he's pledged a commitment to, how can we trust him with the running of the country? Not that those are necessarily based on each other, but I feel like there's a lot that you could find a lot more trust in someone that is faithful to their wife as opposed to someone who's not. Yeah. And it makes me think of
Luke 16.
No, 1 Corinthians 6:18. Apologies. What are you doing over here? Paul writes, flee immorality. Every sin that a man commits is outside the body, but the immoral man, and speaking of of sexual immorality. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, fornication. That's in the lexicon. That's what it's about. Outside the body, but the immoral man sins against his own body. So there is something special about sexual sin. Yes. Okay. Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh. There is something that's almost. I mean, I could think of like presidents that have had like I don't know, like drug addictions. I don't know if they've had addictions, but have had. There's been stories about them using drugs or something.
Drug addictions. They had wooden teeth to replace them.
Sure. Okay, we'll go with that. But I feel like that's one of those sins that's outside your body, and it's not quite the same as these sins against your own body. That I don't know. There's something about that just undermines you as a person, and I certainly have some personal experience with that because I was addicted to porn for a number of years in my youth. So I can understand that undermining and how that sort of just hollows you out in a way that other sins. I mean, I've never been addicted to drugs. Sugar, maybe. If sugar's a drug, I guess I'm addicted to sugar.
Caffeine is a drug, and I'm definitely addicted to that.
All right. So I don't know what to say to those because I don't.
Well,
I don't know what to say to that.
Let me help you out, Captain.
Thank you,
I
Paul.
could steer it back to what Kenneth was
Please
talking about, which I thought was Luke 16:10. Jesus says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much.
Yep.
And whoever is dishonest with very little will be dishonest with much. Much like the impersonator.
Yep, exactly.
You can't trust either one of them.
Yeah, good point. You can't. Well, let's. Jeez.
I mean, this movie's called Big Fat Liar. No.
Dale, I was gonna go back to Ken real quick, but you haven't had a chance to speak to this. If there's anything you have to say about this, any thoughts you have?
Not really. Just listen to y'all talk.
Okay. Then we will listen to Ken talk some more because I'm curious. So what about? So obviously that was really. What about that he's an adulterer really bothered you, other than it being obviously a sin that a man or woman commits against their own body? I don't know, anything. Is the fact that he's the president the main thing, or is it just seeing that on screen when there was another reason? You could have used any other reason that really bothered you.
Well, I mean, like what you said during the show, the fact that, by having that reason, it made it more sympathetic to Connie Weaver character, his wife.
Yeah.
The reason why she would fall with somebody else because their marriage is already over. He's a serial adulterer, and so basically it's a marriage of convenience and on paper only, nothing else behind it.
Yeah.
But I still back to the fact that I don't care if it was a president or not, right? It's like any. So my history is the fact that I'm still legally married, even though I'm basically separated, right? I did commit adultery, both the lusting after online cyber stuff, right? But also literally in person, and it's a terrible thing, the things you do, because it's not just that; it's how much you're hiding it from other people, how much you're not the same person. And I hated the person I was becoming. I had to hide this stuff and not share it, and I didn't want my kids to know this. I don't want my kids to understand this, see what's going on. I want them, so that's why when I repented and gave my life back to Christ, God restored me. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, it's that trust factor of who you are. I mean, the openness of my life, the openness of who I am. I don't have to hide anything. I'm not the same person 24/7 and try to be. No one's perfect. And it's like, I don't want that to happen. So it's like, that's where I'm like, this guy is like, you're the president of the United States and everybody around you knows you're having an affair. So it's not just between you and your wife, okay, or the other person, but everyone knows. Yeah, including the office staff knew that she was having an affair with him. It's like what kind of, and when you start these little seeds planted, the whole like yeast in a bread, right? Yeah. Now it starts seeping through. The idea is that if a little bit, like people say, well, what if you put a little bit of poop in a sandwich, right? Is the sandwich bad? Well, can you taste it? Probably not. But you're like, ah. You know, like that little bit of thing that he's putting in there is just like it just destroys all confidence and faith of everything he says. So why would you trust anything he says?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
You know?
totally.
And kind of find out he was the guy in the movie again. There was a saving the loan scandal, which, by the way, for those who don't know, did happen back in the 80s and 90s. He was implicated. The president was implicated as being a liar. So was his chief of staff. So it wasn't just the adultery. He had a lot of sin. Okay, and that was a tip of it.
Oh, in the movie. I thought you were talking about in our actual president in the 80s and 90s. What was implicated in this? You're talking about in the movie. There's that whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the
was Reagan in something. I'm like,
student loan scandal, but there were other politicians, I think, implicated in the student loan scandal back then.
Okay.
Savings and loans. Sorry, not student loans. Savings and loans.
Yeah, savings and loans. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So much there. I don't know.
Let's keep moving, folks.
I want to commentate because that's
comment. Like, let's go.
I'm trying to think of what I want to land on, but I just so much there that I feel like it's so easy. I think the main thing is it poisons the whole well. Just a little drop because it does affect everyone, even if you think it's just between you and this other person. So there's this.
Is there?
Paul, yes, so there's a song from a band that I really love called The Midnight. It's on this album that has to do with a lot that it's called like Monsters or something. And it's just some really like dark stuff. And I feel like the way they frame it as like a horror album in that, but the stuff they do is the sin that the stuff that they sing about. Some of it is the sin in our lives that does generate can just create such brokenness. I want to look up the lyrics for one of these songs to share that. Paul, will you? I see Geek Devotions, Matt Ski Live. Did some comments. Are you able to read them or no?
Oh, I was looking up the lyrics. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
because I had them all set up. But okay, so D. Tungsten says yes, porn is bad. Geek Devotion says it's a break of covenant. That's what bothers me. He's talking about the affair of the president.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a man in leadership hurts more. It sets a tone for the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Matsky says porn is a bad thing, and anyone in that industry needs God.
It reminds me
we all need God, but yes.
Oh, that's
so
true.
Vice President Pence was criticized for the fact that he made a point of never being alone with a woman, wasn't his wife, daughter, mother, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're a terrible guy," because his lieutenant governor, when he was governor of Indiana, was a woman. Okay,
but that's not unheard of. That was common practice 100 years ago.
Well, it was. But it's like he was ripped apart for that. There's a man of God who's trying to hold to a certain morality, and not. And I philosophy I try to hold to, because I tell my kids that all the time. They may not agree with it, because you don't want to give somebody the opportunity to have a perception that's not real. Because at times people take perception and make it real, and not to mention which it also ruins not just your reputation but theirs too.
Sure.
So what Vice President Pence did was he was clearly doing something because he was trying to honor his wife. Okay, and a vow that he made to his wife, but in a sense, he's also honoring and commit to God and try to make sure that the lieutenant governor, any woman that he is engaging with, doesn't have the same possibility of someone getting the wrong idea.
Right. It's kind of like what the Bible calls above reproach. It's I know Titus 1 talks about. Well, there's only one Titus. Talks about it talks about being above reproach in the first few verses.
Yeah,
that's why Ben Kingsley's character in this movie was kind of good, because he was a man above reproach.
Exactly.
And they tried to ruin him, but he was an honest man. So he was an honest man as a politician. I wonder whether those actually exist. They do exist, by the way.
Yeah, I think they do.
Not as many as you think, but they do exist.
Yeah, and 1 Timothy 3:2 says, therefore, an overseer must be above reproach, and talks about the qualification of an elder.
Right, for elders, yeah.
Do you feel like that's the world trying to drag? So I imagine you guys are familiar with
the world is dragged.
The crabs in a bucket idea, and I've never witnessed this. I've just heard this idiom, so I assume it happens.
Well, it's true.
But that if you have crabs in a bucket and one of them tries to get out of the bucket, like tries to escape, all the others will pull them down. And so that's
I don't think it's much as well in a way.
Well,
I was
like
just about the darkness not liking the light, and any light shine upon them, they don't like it. And they try to put the light out so they can enjoy their darkness.
Well, I meant like with Ken's example of Vice President Pence, was it?
Yes.
Pence,
yeah.
Right.
And not wanting to be anywhere without his wife. And everyone like, oh, man, what are you? Just being all like irate about that. I feel like that almost feels like everyone's trying to, it's no big deal. It's no problem. And that actually goes right into the lyrics I have here. This is the Midnight. The song is "Devil Make a Deal" from their horror show.
Oh, is that with the fiddle and the soul?
No.
Oh,
it's essentially about this man that has kids. Like the opening verses. Once there was a man with good intentions, and some people at home he forgot to mention. She was looking for a friend, and he was willing to listen. Once there was a man with good intentions. And then it has the chorus. Then it's talking about the girl. Once there was a girl who thought she needed to be saved, but by a white knight on a white horse and a white cape. Maybe he's taken, but you'll take him anyway. Once there was a girl who thought she needed to be saved. So it's these two people that are essentially having an affair, even though they're broken and they like the man has.
Thank you for explaining that. I did not get that.
The man has like people at home, like apparently a wife or kids. And essentially it's talking about the choruses, and nobody has to know. It's all right to let go, and nobody has to see what's between you and me. But the thing is, it's not. It is. And I think most out of context of this album, it'd be like they're promoting adultery. But this album is a horror show. It's about like the horrors of life, and it talks. The bridge is, I don't want to change your mind, but I don't want to go home tonight. Tell me no, or I'm coming over. Let the devil make a deal. With the angel on your shoulder, just talking about how just like almost like the world trying to convince like Vice President Pence, oh, it's okay, it's okay to be around women. It's not a big deal. It's okay. It's okay.
It is.
How misogynist is that? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so
double standards.
Yeah, it's a double standard. So I hate listening to this song, even though I enjoy the music of it, because it's just so sad to hear. I definitely like there are some other tracks on this album I enjoy, but that one definitely sticks out as like, you may think it's hidden, you may think it's not seen, but if no one else sees it, God certainly sees it, and it will come out.
The angels are writing it down in their books, and it'll all be revealed in the end. You don't believe me? Look it up.
All right, I believe you, Paul. Anyway,
it reminds me of a song I've quoted. I even did a Christian streamer conversation about called "Slow Fade," casting crowns, slow fade. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful, little ears, what you hear. When flattery leads to compromise, the end is always near. Be careful, little lips, what you say, for empty words and promises lead broken hearts astray. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's a slow fade when black and white have turned to gray. Thoughts invade, choices are made, a price will be paid when you give yourself away. People never crumble in a day.
Yeah.
If you ever watch that video, it's a reverse in time video where he starts with the affair, okay, and he goes in the whole song he's singing it. He go backwards in time to a point where he's holding his little girl and said, "Daddy, do you got on a business trip? Daddy, do you have to go?" It goes, I don't.
Yeah.
That was the start. He didn't commit adultery right away. It was a slow fade. I tell the story all the time. Again, I was over at my computer over here. I was playing Dark as a Camelot, and my son was next to me, and this one lady I know, one of the other, not that guilty, but on my lines, right? Mm-hmm. She what's that? That flattery? It's when you
Flattery.
Not flattery, something else. It's called when you do something like that, you kind of
up.
like not speak seductive with someone.
Flirt.
Flirt. So she's flirting with me. I'm like, I'm laughing, right? Like, yeah, whatever, right? No big deal. But I remember that, and it
sticks with you. Yeah,
as sort of the moment where that slow fade
slow fade.
Yeah.
That woman I did online, I never met her in person, right? I did cyber sexting with her, okay, and me also through that whole thing meeting somebody else, and same thing with the convention I went to. It's like it's like I remember the slow fade. That's why no, it doesn't happen overnight. It's the journey from your mind to your hands is shorter than you're thinking. Be careful if you think you stand, you just might be sinking.
That's good. Yeah,
it reminds me of, I know a lot of people are like, oh, resist the devil and he'll flee. Like, oh, I can handle these temptations. But they know what, and they hear like, oh, the devil is like really smart. He's smarter than you. It's like, no, I can see his temptation. What they don't realize, what most, I think, when talking with fellow Christians, what they don't realize where the devil is a mastermind at the psychological warfare is that he is a master in the long game.
Yes.
It's not the, we didn't get where we are as a country and our moral standards from where we were yesterday. Like there was an immediate switch. It's a long game. And the same thing with your life and the battles that we have. He's a master. And
it's so often so easy for, I think, all of us when we fail to be like, well, what's the point of trying again? Because I just failed this time. But that's another subtle lie. It's like, no, just try again. Like, tomorrow's a new day. God's mercies are fresh every day.
Moment by moment.
Yes, indeed.
What's that? Day by day.
Day by day. Oh, dear Lord, these things I pray.
That's DC Talk, I think, right?
It's Godspell. The musical's
Which
Godspell.
DC Talk sampled, yes.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Okay. I know DC Talk. I didn't. Okay.
But awesome. Any other thoughts, guys? This has been. I was not expecting this conversation to be so. I feel like so
long.
Deep.
Oh yeah, deep. Sorry.
Not slow and boring, Paul. Not slow and boring.
All right.
Just very deep and resonant. But any other thoughts or things that anyone wants to mention before we call it?
No, sir.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave isn't here. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, patrons, for supporting this content. Hopefully it resonated with you. And for me, for Dale, for Ken, and for Paul, we bid you all shalom.
That means peace.
Gosh, every time. It's the new 20XX over here.
Look at my gigantic arms. Wow.
You know what, D-Tungsten? Whatever. It could be Andy. It could be Oliver. It could be Gospel. I don't know what it is. It's something.
It's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, it's not Spamalot either, Ken.
Spamalot. Ooh, I saw that in the theaters, okay?
You saw Spamalot
in the
in a movie.
Live theater.
Yeah.
Real theater. A real theater with actual people on stage doing it, yeah.
Nice. Yes, 20XX.
Podium's really small.
Oh my gosh. Or you're a giant.
Oh, yeah. I like that better.
Yeah, exactly.
People of Earth.
Anyway.
I hate the president. It's Attack on Titan.
Oh my! Did they eat the president in Attack on Titan?
No, but I did here, and I have my skin on still.
Oh, I see. Okay. Anyways, the Edgar suit calling himself Paul.
I need more sugar.
Yeah, exactly. And Ken and Dale and I are all gonna peace out. Thank you, everyone who was here. Felt like we had tons of people watching tonight. Cellcast, D-Tungsten, Solomon, Ashley, Bobo, let's see, Matsky, Geek Devotions, just going through here. Neko is here.
I gotta go. I've been holding it too long.
Okay, bye, Paul. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Bye, all.
But thank you all so much. Have a good night. And until next time, here is your stream face.